it makes me want to play extra. So it makes me want to play Sonic Superstars when I get into the 2D. You know what I mean?
Well, I've started the show already.
That's perfect.
So I'm going to load the music right about now. Okay, that should be good enough. All right, so there's a dance number happening right now. I've got the Heat and the Hornets game in the background, Charles. And yeah, this is Sports Goofs number 185. I'm Francisco, joined by my good buddy Charles here. And we're just doing some Sonic talk before the show, which is not normal. We usually talk about, like, our miserable work lives, but then this time it's a little bit different. This time I'm glad. Charles is in the open world in Sonic Frontiers and is having a bit of a good time after a small gaming lull for him.
Yeah, it was bad. Hi, everybody. So I think this happens. You get post-game fatigue, post-gamer fatigue, anytime you play a post-gamer exhaustion. Mm-hmm. I think anytime you do two kind of games, a perfect game or a game that's in a 9 or above. It's never the 8.5s, even though you can be. Or the games that take like more than 50 hours to play. And I felt that because the last time we hit the gaming lug spell was about a year and a half ago, to which Metroid Dread brought us together back to learn to love again. Whereas I think I was stuck on my gaming lull because I had played for Horizon Forbidden West, which was like about 70 hours of my life. However, even though I'm looking at my score sheet, I gave it an 8.5 then. I think the big debate could be a 7.5. My buddy Ross and I talk about it, and he's not wrong.
You're getting staticky there, Charles.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but there's like a
Am I still
there.
Staticky?
Yeah, just a bit there.
Don't worry, soon.
When's the new one coming in?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
My MPAL, which was a non-sponsor, is fine, but it's a wired controller. So the thing is that there's years I think I've had it. You're gonna get some static comes in when you touch it like this. So I'm doing it for the sounds for the poor listeners. But we hit the gamer exhaustion, and we played Spider-Man, and we hit that lull a little bit. We hit that same lull I feel when we did Zelda, because I had COVID when Zelda came on. In that sense, but still, all the same logic. I feel. So you need it.
The NBA is really trying to make this in-season tournament a thing, huh?
Yeah, we're just ignoring it properly. We're like, we don't care. I mean, there is some stuff I care about what's happening in the NBA, and we are a sports show, and we might talk about it. So you're going to get like eloquent.
No, I'm losing you again.
Can you hear me
No,
now?
now you're getting further away now.
How is this?
Now it's good. Now we're
nothing really happening except I just turned the wire left to right. 2 more weeks, guys, because let me finish the gamer exhaustion, and we're going to talk about Charlesism in a second. So gamer exhaustion happens. Ironically, what I find funny is every time I have post gamer exhaustion, I always turn to Borderlands because I think it's so mindless. I did the 2 DLCs or 3 DLCs when I had the Rona coming into it, and then I finish off the final one, which was Hammerlock. And for anybody who hasn't played Borderlands, it's exactly what you need when you're kind of like bored in that sense, or you need something mindless. That's a correction. I did Moxie's Heist in 2022, and I got COVID in 2023. But it doesn't require much substitute. I kind of wish I had better shooters available. Like Division 2 is out there, but it's a game shooter kind of thing. It's a loot and shooter. The same thing where I have Outriders in the DLC that me and my buddies got for like $7, but all the same. And the problem is Modern Warfare is just it's not worth my cup of tea. I still have Black Ops. I can play that if I want to. And Battlefield 2042 was so there. But we do have something that has been purchased as of this morning when I was on the toilet. It's all my best ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Where when you think about exhaustion, you have to ask yourself, Charles, can everything be a single player? And remember, the arbitrary backlogness, how to be attacked because I played too much multis, a little bit too much, Madden, a little bit too much Splatoon, a little bit too much NBA. And the thing is with NBA and NFL, so with Madden and then NBA 2K on top of other things, the problem is that you get stuck it doesn't educate you anymore. Why doesn't it educate you anymore? Because I'm not really playing as regular teams anymore. I'm doing the fantasy teams, which is fun. You build what you got, but you still something to kind of keep you focused and want to play all the time. So this morning, and poor Francisco, you heard me talk last week, guys, about how I bombard the chat at 3 different time periods. The morning was a little bit earlier than expected. But NHL 2K or NHL 24 was on sale, $35. I had Discover points. I got work mileage check, but the consensus was that it's actual real money. So Charlesism, right? And when we talk about Charlesing or Charlesism, it's to not pay anything more than, I would say, $10, 10 smackaroos for any kind of game. And the weird thing about Charlesism, it's only really applicable on video game consoles. It doesn't work on accessories. I really don't care. I don't. It's like whatever. It's an accessory means I really need it, if anything. Controller is a different story, but generally with controllers, I just trade in a controller to get it. That makes more sense. Like with my Joy-Cons, I had to do, or not my Joy-Cons, but my Pro controller. But now we have NHL 24 that should be coming in tomorrow, and it was needed. It was needed to go from there. I was jumping back and forth because sometimes I read critics' reviews, but when you really look at the heart and the soul of the reviews, it wasn't because the gameplay is bad or the graphics are bad. It's because it's EA doing like the MUT, trying to get the cash grabs, and I just won't do that. This is to learn the intricacies of hockey, to give me something that when I only have an hour or so, my brain's kind of fried. I want to listen to music because all I've been doing is just kind of going on Splatoon on Turf War, which is fine. The problem is I do have those concerns if I jump on non-Turf War stuff, if I jump onto any kind of Clam Blitz or anything that's ranked. They have so many different names now, but if I knocked it into anything that's ranked, I would lose hours of time. But now we're into the hockey game, kids, and this is going to be an interesting endeavor as I'm going to learn the sport of hockey and then further just kind of be one of the team and learn, because that's how I learned in Madden. That's how I learned in NBA, because I think everybody starts out as a casual. Everybody does start out as a casual when it comes to certain sports. So how do you learn it? Like, I didn't know football, everything in my life. But Charles is they're bringing it all back. So yes, Sonic Frontiers, we'll talk about that probably in a second, because I don't think we're going to be a sports-heavy show today. But
I don't know. I've got some ideas.
Depending on bait, yeah, that's good. I can go with it. Charlesing doesn't go with accessories, but I'm trying to hold out for Black Friday because I am looking at the Arctis Steel Series 7P for the PS5 and laptop. So it'll be good for the podcast. And when I don't want to have the television on too loud or I want to immerse myself in sound, I'll do it for the show. It's wireless. I think I'll keep the MPALs. I'm not going to throw them away by any means. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a fool. But you have to kind of gravitate. So Charles Ising doesn't really apply to accessories, because why? Accessories don't really go on sale a lot, whether it be a camera or a video grab thing for when you're playing games. I don't know what they're called these days. Streamers is what I call it. Or even like audios and microphones. Francisco might want to do it, and that's understandable. For me, it's more of like a necessary evil, and because I view it as that, I'm never going to rely. I would say if I want one now. And they've had other ones on sale, like the 9X. But the thing is, man, I really just kind of the battery life. This one that I'm looking at, even though it's like 160, and yes, it is kind of expensive, but you're paying for the sound. You're paying for it's going to do 3D spatial immersion, which is what the Pulse Audio, which the PlayStation 5 like kind of tries to pride itself on. And the reason why I just didn't go with that, I could have gone with the Sony headsets that they have for the Pulse 3D, is because I've had two friends who like gave it negative reviews. So I'm like, I do take, it's like how you would buy a car. That's how I view these things. You're never going to get a discount on a car. You never do. Anytime you go car shopping, folks, and they say, oh, these great deals, it's not. You got to be careful. Those in-service fees. That's why being a lawyer matters so much. I'm like, where's the hidden fees? Show it to me. And you just intimidate them. And what you'll find is that some of these car salesmen would just be bagging groceries if it wasn't for who they were employed by. But these ones also have like 38 hours of battery life. And I think that's rather impressive to pay $50 more than what was in the Steel Series 9X or even in the Pulse 3D Audio, where I read the battery charge was low. I'm about battery charge. I use my Jabra Elite headset, 75 Elite, all the time. It was my non-sponsor of the year about 3 years ago, and they still go good, man. Like, battery life matters a lot with headsets instead of controllers. Like, because I can just always charge and play. I'm trying to eliminate the wireless for the headsets because, I got a gaming chair and stuff like that. So I think it's worth it for almost 40 hours of gameplay play. And so we're going to look 2 weeks from now, and we're going to see where Black Friday takes us. And even if it's just $20 less, it's $20 less. But you know what's funny, man? I will not for the life of me use the Best Buy gift card. I won't use the GameStop gift card. I'll just rather do a credit card and get points on it.
There's an ultimate plan for next year
for the GameStop gift card. Yeah, I'm gonna put them out of business because it's either legitimately I'm gonna get that Switch 2 for like, $2 or nothing, or I'm just going to use it in all first-party games that come out. It really just depends. And the idea, I'm still at that time, like, am I end up keeping my Switch or not? And that's why I need Nintendo to really get off their ass. But because it comes down to, it's just an accessory. And it's fine. It's the same way of just getting car tires. You don't get deals on car tires, guys. It's all a legitimate lie. You know, you can shop elsewhere and get cheaper, like my current headset, which is fine. When I paid like $25 for the MPOW, and that's fine. 3 years we've been using this, or 4. It's done its job. But sometimes you have to upgrade. And that's how I view it. What is your thoughts on savings and accessorizations, and would you do that for gift cards? We're prepping people because, you know, next week is the Black Friday Thanksgiving Goof spectacle. Dios de Pavo Part 2, I think we would have to title it, which I love that's our running thing now, because I have complaints about Thanksgiving that I'm, to quote Matthew Judon, you know, we ain't got time for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not there just yet, but I mean, I don't exactly buy a ton of accessories anymore. The thing that I do mostly now is just customize my stuff.
Yeah,
that's you know, with the extreme rate, right? The non-sponsorship. I mean, it took me a while just to finally bite on buying a new Xbox controller.
And I had to throw that at you.
Yeah, and you threw it at me. It was like, okay, $40. All right, I can bite. That's a good deal for a third-party controller. Yeah. And then, all right, well, I still wanted some flash to it, and I accessorized by customizing. So that is the way that I do it. I did the same thing for my Switch Joy-Cons. So I've got 2 sets of those for whenever they run out of batteries and stuff like that. Even then, I got them a long time ago, until last year when I just started customizing things like crazy. And gaming PC, I mean, I haven't switched from the original keyboard and mouse that I've had since I bought it.
Well, I think you're a nerd if you do that. Sorry, kids, but you know.
I mean, mine has the keyboard's nothing special. The mouse has like all the buttons and stuff for that, but even then, I just use the actual controller because I am not that deep with the gaming PC stuff or the FPS stuff.
And I would imagine I would do that because eventually I'll get a PC. You know, it's just I live in a little hut, so, you know, we just can't do it all the time. But as I tell people, it's like, I don't need the fancy keyboard and stuff like that, or the mouse. You know, I just need something that's, if anything, I would probably, you're going to laugh, I would spend more money on the mouse pad to make sure that, you know, the car... years of lifting weight is going to get back at me. It already has.
I've got one of the long ones.
I love that.
That spreads out pretty. It's not one of those smaller ones, and it lights up too. It's got LED lights and everything like that, because why not?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. LEDs are cool. It would be like you have to make it somewhat kind of fun, like your own man cave, as they say.
Yeah, and then as far as everything else, and I mean, just have the retro stuff. But even then, I don't buy a ton of accessories for that.
So you're kind of like me. You just get what you get, and that's it.
Yeah, essentially, I don't want to spend a ton of money getting something that I already have. Like the people who trade in Nintendo Switches and stuff, or buy multiple Nintendo Switches just because, this one's the Tears of the Kingdom one, it's the Smash one. I can't do that.
Oh man, I was looking so hard at the Spider-Man one, and I think even when we were talking about the Pro controller when they had the Tears of the Kingdom, objectively, why am I going to pay $10 more?
I like the one from Skyward Sword when they had the Skyward Sword Zelda controllers. I'm like, that looks pretty slick. I like that color with the symbols and all that stuff. It was blue and gold. But
they charge you extra.
They do, and I was just like, do I really need this when I already have 2 pairs of Joy-Cons? I really didn't see the point of doing so after having already bought my stuff. So as far as accessories, I do want to get a headset. I do want, I want to get some gaming earbuds or wired.
And I'll find them.
Because I can't do the ones that go over the ears because my ears get hot.
Well, I'll get the inserts for you.
Yeah, and the Xbox controller still has the 3.5 millimeter jack that you can just stick any sort of wired earbuds or whatever inside.
That's the problem with certain Sony stuff, because it's Sony. I don't think
everything's proprietary.
I can't use the Jabras on there for whatever reason, and it's ridiculous because it it recognizes Bluetooth on their terms, meaning PS4 controllers or elsewhere. So I rather just go with the other one because they have a USB-C dongle and you could just attach it into the port.
Yeah.
So it's so weird because I do know people who are like, I'm not going to pay this price. When there's a good sale, there's a good sale. I think I sent you, a couple other ones. But the way I look at it objectively is just, I just say, okay, all things considered, this will be a benefit for the show. The show's always going to be consistent. I don't always play the multis with the friends or stuff like that, but they've been complaining about the staticky. You've complained about the static stuff. And I know what you guys are saying. Well, Charles, if your headsets, it goes back to the fact that Sony and they all do it. Good luck with Nintendo. I mean, God, they probably say, hey, we'll take they do accept my jobbers, but God forbid they had a voice chat that was, actually workable. Fucking right. But one. And you know what, Nintendo, I'm going to say it, I'm going to use my other curse word. Fuck off for the whole not being able to figure out how to use a voice chat party. Coming into it, because it would make playing with Splatoon with random people a whole lot easier. Because when I can't play with Francisco, who we have almost in equity 6 years worth of playing together, or to read the chat, really, man. And we're not aggressive, and I can. Part of it is they want to be safe, but that was Nintendo from years ago. Now they legitimately don't care. They're just going to make their cash and go from it. But please get your shit together. Get your shit together.
I lost you a
headsets,
bit.
Accessorizations. I'm not too concerned price. If I save $20 on it, fantastic.
Yeah, I lost you a bit there, Charles. In your rant there. Can you hear me?
Francisco.
Oh, no, he can't hear me at all. Hold on. For whatever reason, we got disconnected. Hold on. I am going to reconnect with him, and then we'll go from there. That was weird. He popped in, he popped out, and then now we're back. Hey, Charles, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me, and we were just kind of speaking to each other in our own voids.
Yeah.
That everybody could listen to.
Yeah, it was just stuck with the man in the mirror. But that's my thoughts. But accessorizations are important for gaming. Moms and dads and aunts and uncles who are just listening and wondering, it is very important for gaming. We encourage it. Proper headsets make the world go around. I have a 16-year-old nephew, and if I was more rich, I would probably buy him the good ones, just so he can either A, play video games, or B, listen to better porn. Just saying, we know what happens when you're 16, guys. This ain't Playboy world anymore. That's why you get the wireless, so you don't yank it while you're yanking it. You don't yank out the wireless.
I don't know if you're watching this, Charles, but I've got in the background right now
the Hornets setting stuff up.
Yeah, well, we're getting the feed from the arena, so we're watching all the in-between stuff instead of commercials. So this is actually quite an interesting way to watch a game. And I think I would rather pay for this service than for ads, right? I think you just pay, and we could just watch all the goofy stuff that goes on. And I'm fairly interested in this. I don't know.
If you've been to live games, you notice if you've been to live games, this is what you get as halftime entertainment, kids.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we've got right now, halftime entertainment. I think Jimmy Butler hit a near half-court shot. Oh, the guy hit it. Oops. Uh-oh, he messed that one up. So, I don't know what the score is. Does it really matter? It's the in-season tournament. The Heat have won 5
matters.
in a row, right?
They're 6-4. Do you want? I'm just gonna transition it. Why it matters? Paymaker 2023. We've talked about this, man. We've talked about this. Anything that shows that we can still be consistently good, even with Tyler Hero, the bargaining chip being gone, we're still the best coached, the best. I won't say best depth because that's a lie, but the best disciplined for the momentarily. You can't do it. The Blazers are atrocious right now. Not atrocious, but they're bad. Dame's been hurt a little bit. Not that I want it to happen to Dame, but if I can't have you, no one else can mentality coming in. Mm-hmm. So, it matters about pride. And I know pride goeth before the fall. Listen, we don't need to get biblical up in here. Look who you're talking to. In that sense, but it's not going to stop. You guys got to stand for something. And the entire NBA stood in our way because they didn't want to see a team that had already had success in the beginning of the 2010s, right? Mm-hmm. Get even more better when they went to the finals, 2 within 4 years, right? Twice within 4 years, have the opportunity to get the best player. But and this ain't a shot on Milwaukee. Out of all the teams, we ain't hating on Milwaukee here, and we will not hate on Milwaukee. They played the good hand. They got what they needed, and all that stuff. But this collusion was that's fine. So yes, it matters. The in-season tournament does not matter. No one's really been fired yet. What kind of does matter is James Harden just being absolute ass right now. And that whole team is not comparatively good because there's no way you can structure it together. And for some reason, hindsight's 2020, right? And we're like, oh, it's James Harden. But everybody needs to work on a different level. And for Harden to be effective, and it would have been nice, was if he was probably coming off the bench. Because everybody on that team is a primary ball handler, regardless if you want to say differently. Kawhi, as we know from his time in Toronto, is a primary ball handler. Paul George, even though he can go 3 for 16 these days, is a primary ball handler. Russ is a primary ball handler. So what are we doing here?
Let me see. I haven't been down the NBA road lately.
Well, let's start it.
Why not? Let's actually talk about some actual sports here, right?
Yeah.
Let's start from the bottom and work our way to the top. Actually, let's start with the Western Conference because I really don't know what's going on when it comes to Western teams.
I know what's happening in the East. The West, I don't, except for Jokic.
So let's see. The Memphis Grizzlies, because we're 10 games in. So that's a nice little, okay, we can see where some teams are at just a little bit. Even though
an eighth of the season is done.
Yeah. So the Grizzlies are in last place. They're 2-8.
Man, so much, how does that hurt the ego of homeboy? What was his name? His former, not Ja. We knew they were going to be bad because of Ja, but for some reason I had a mental, and I was literally looking at stats. Smart.
Oh, okay.
Marcus Smart. Because remember, he was the bargaining chip. That was the big trade. Boston was kind of sending some stuff out, and we all kind of knew limits, but he's being asked to do so much with very little to help him.
Utah's 3-7.
Yeah, it's Utah. No one really expected much.
The Spurs are 3-7. They've lost 5 in a row.
Wemby's trash. Bam, put him down, man. Duncan Robinson took him to church.
My goodness, the things people were posting, which was funny.
The Michael Jordan stuff.
The Michael Jordan stuff.
Well, I mentioned it on the pre stuff, is what was amazing to me was the fact that Duncan finally having that opportunity to showcase it, because now he finally entered. Yes, he has a big contract now, but remember, he was in perpetual hell from Spoelstra, in the way they coach it, but now it's working. Now he's vital. Is it out of necessity? Yeah. But you know what? I've seen first rounders who don't get any play time because their coach is like, I'm not going to give it to you anyway.
Blazers 3-6. We've already talked about that. We talked about the Clippers. They're 3-6 also to start. Lost 5 in a row thus far. The Pelicans are 4-6. They've lost 5 in a row. The Suns are 4-6.
They'll be okay. There's too much talent to not be okay. They
just gotta feel things around, and
it doesn't matter when you're that kind of team on that kind of record.
Yeah,
it's okay, guys.
Lakers are 5-5.
They're really, if I can just say, and the meat riding's about to happen. See, he's not curse word even on that 3. But I've always loved him, so I'm not, it pisses off some of my other friends, but it goes to show how special LeBron really is, because I've seen those plus minuses. Barry McCockner, who you guys should follow on Twitter, Charles the True, FJOJR, Dan Friholy, sports_goofs. Follow us, like us, Marlins historian, Panthers historian. Marlins historian, a little bit of the quiet time. Panthers historian is good. What's Andrew Suda one? UCF historian.
Well, he doesn't use that one.
That's not him.
All right. I got hockey after this, so.
Yeah, so
I'll be tweeting this stuff tonight. Panthers play the Sharks, which I will also be talking about.
Yeah, so just follow us, give us the love that we deserve and we need. But he was saying he was talking about the plus or minuses regarding LeBron and how he's on their team's efficient, and then when they're not there, it's just bad. It's just bad, and I can believe it, because is that not almost every LeBron team except for Miami? Seriously, every LeBron team. Except when it wasn't Miami. And I am counting the second Cleveland run, because there was times where nobody was fully there.
Yep.
So I feel bad. Come back to Miami. Just come back. It's okay. It's okay. I will welcome you with open arms.
He's essentially admitted he probably would have won more if he stayed in Miami.
Well, he was a young boy at that time. He was just hitting them 30s or about to hit them 30s. And I gotta say, the Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra mindset is better for guys who are closer to their 30s than young boys. It really is true. It really is true. The kind of buy-in mentality and everything, and also just dealing with coaching.
All right, the Warriors 6-5.
They'll be okay.
The Sacramento Kings are 5-4. 1-3 in a row thus far.
Can I talk the stuff now?
Great season last season. Light the beam, Charles.
Is it? I don't know, guys, if it's a great season last season, or is it the proverbial this happens every time Mike Brown has a team for 1 year and then it just goes to hell? Is he George Carling it? Because he's their current coach, I believe.
It's 5-4. I don't really think that they've won 3 in a row. I think they'll be fine, Charles. It's a very young team.
Someone has to make bold predictions.
Okay, alrighty. The OKC's 6-4.
I can't name anybody. I can name the big ones. Shai and then Dort, because Dort was around in the beginning. Chet hasn't done anything, and it goes back to I hate this thing about he's a rookie. He was the number 2 or 3 pick in the draft. He got hurt and he played 2 games. He's not a rookie per se. The guy is him and Wembanyama. It's literally like Slender Man, 1 and 2 just going against each other.
Well, they're playing tonight right now against each other.
God.
It's right now 36-33 at the moment between them and San Antonio.
Oh, real quick. I don't know if he goes by Jamie or Jaime Jaquez Jr., the Triple J. My Hispanic accent really going to be activated at some point. Doing good. I'm just saying, I saw a couple of games. I've been watching a few of the Heat games. I know you're going to be like, Charles? I'm like, listen, this is how it is, man. This is how I get sometimes. That pettiness. It's like getting to the gym after you break up with an ex. You're like, I'm going to get hot. I'm going to get knowledgeable. So I just want to give him a shout out. Follow us on Twitter. Jaime or Jamie. I'll call you Jaime for Miami's sake.
The Rockets are 6-3. They've won 6 in a row now.
Man, Ime Udoka, he's like, all that cheating, he hurt us. He's like, I cheated on Nia Long, but I learned how to be a better coach instead of resting on laurels.
Minnesota's won 6 in a row. They're 7-2.
I heard that this is their best start in 20 years. And it's so weird because I think last year I said it feels dirty that they're actually competent, because you guys
they got one guy to compliment Cat finally, I guess.
Which one do they have now? Oh, Anthony Edwards. Is it really that he's complimenting Kit Kat Bar, or is it the fact that Edwards is actually better than he is?
Well, I think it's the latter. I would say the latter.
Because Cat disappears.
You're disappearing as well, Charles. Right now.
Oh, God damn it! 4. This is really just telling us what this is like a dying llama, right?
Yeah, there we go. All right, it's gone now.
All right. And I still don't agree with the Rudy Gobert trade, but you know what? It doesn't matter. As long as we have to just accept the fact that people just get overpaid, despite what their actual utilities are. Who am I to be like, I'm nobody. I'm like, just do that. It's fine.
Dallas is 8-2.
As expected. This is year 2. Kyrie's fully on the full play of it. I legitimately forgot who. Oh, is it still Jason Kidd who's their coach? It is. Good luck on that.
And Denver is also 8-2.
That'll be perfect. That team has all the capacity.
You're disappearing again, Charles.
Really?
Get some tape.
Whoa. Better, worse?
Whoa. No. Whoa. No? Hold on. I'm going to mute you so we don't destroy everybody's ears while you're fixing it up. How about now? Dude. Okay. All right. That should be fine.
All right, because I'll switch to the wireless headphones.
No,
if need be.
This is working out thus far now. Okay, all right. So
that's why you guys have to switch to wireless headsets.
That's the West. We shall go to the East. Oh man, the Detroit Pistons.
They will never be good. My buddy is a Pistons fan. I'm like, how do you screw the pooch every year? Jaden Ivey's not doing it. They're, the Asur Thompson guy. I don't know. They got so many draft picks and they just didn't do it. And then Cade Williams. balls is what I'll say. Balls.
The Jordan Poole and his Washington Wizards.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. And not even because I'm a Jordan Poole hater. I love the guy who gets better because there's a beautiful woman around. I will always love that Jessica Alba meme. I will never hate it. But it's on Golden State for giving him that big contract, but they were in that weird fluctuation where, like, we don't know legitimately if Clay is going to come back. We don't know, with Steph because he gets hurt. What are we going to find as a healthy balance? Let's just pay him. And then they were able to switch off. And for Washington, it's in a peak because that's a badly run organization. After almost a decade of some competency between Beal and Wall, they're like, all right, we're just going to work with this and see where it takes us and see if they compensate. Like, Jordan Poole should be fine. And it's just not there. But good on you, fella. Get your cash.
Charlotte 3-6.
They will never be good. They will never be good. Like, seriously, man. Do they still have Steve Clifford? Because remember, they rehired him.
I think so.
The
game is literally on in the background for us.
Well, because they fired Baraggio, and then I think PJ Atkinson didn't want. We know stuff here, guys. It's amazing. And then PJ Atkinson didn't want to accept the job when they saw the crap show that was happening there. But it's a poverty franchise.
Yeah, it's still him. Because I was watching him, like, yeah, that looked like him while we were playing the game.
Poverty franchise.
All right, the Chicago Bulls are 4-7.
Billy's getting fired, as it should be at this point.
All right, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 4-6.
Suck a little bit more. Give us that Donovan Mitchell.
Demand the trade. All right, the Raptors are 5-5.
I don't know if Pascal Siakam's good or not, but it's just one of those things where you always want to, oh, wow, my speed just raised to 21. Hell yeah. Playing Sonic in the background, kids. We're just kind of screw around on the map. But you want to see where it legitimately takes you with him. Because they have OJ Anunoby and a few other ones, so we're interested. We're interested if you want to do a fire sale.
The Knicks are 5-5.
Poverty franchise. This is the Tom Thibodeau effect. Tom Thibodeau effect. You get like 1 or 2 decent years, and all of a sudden, man, you were much faster at 21 now, Sonic, than before. I'm like, all right, okay.
The Nets are 5-5.
I don't even know who's on the Nets anymore. I know they have Cam Thomas and all that jazz, but remember, this is they still have Ben Williams. Or Ben Simmons, not Ben Williams. They have Ben Simmons, and I don't know. I cannot find a guy that I am more apathetic for than Ben Simmons. I feel it might not be proper, but at this point, like the last couple of years, like you just want to see if he could turn around or not, and you can make fun of him for not being a good shooter. And then what happens is, just like Zion Williamson, you just figure out who they are as players, and then it's over. And that's the worst thing you can do: to be a high pick and then become irrelevant, for lack of a better word.
All right,
because I don't think we mentioned the Hornets in your evaluation of the West. Well, not the Hornets. I'm sorry, the Pelicans.
No, we passed through them. You're just like, eh.
What was the score?
I don't know what they're.
Well, whatever. They were relevant.
They were like 4 or 3-7 or something like that.
There you go.
All right, the Magic are 5-4.
Team Wagner, because I know the two brothers are there, and Andrew would like that, but I don't care about the Magic. Another poverty-stricken franchise.
The Hawks are 5-4.
Quinn Snyder, all MDMA'd up, baby. Man is a walking personification of fentanyl, it feels like.
All right, our beloved Heat are 6-4.
Suck it.
We've won 5 in a row. The Bucks are 6-4.
Because Dame got hurt. Yeah.
The Pacers are 6-4.
Well, they listen. Considering who their coach is, they need some relevancy here. Rick Carlisle, we were all meat riding him a little bit in his time with Dallas and that one NBA Finals, and then he goes there, and then we're like, oh, it's the perfect job for him. Blah 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 blah. And you're like, who? You got Ben Mathurin. You have the center whose name escapes me right now. I think you have Tyrese Halliburton as well, and it's like it's a make or break year, man. It's a make or break year. Miles Turner.
Okay. And let's see, the Celtics are 8-2.
Yeah, that's expected. Look, we're all the trash talk that we do for them. Like, I love them getting Kristaps if he stays healthy. It really that's balanced, guys, if I've ever seen. And then they got Drew Holiday, which I didn't want Drew Holiday, but I'm not going to disrespect Drew Holiday all the time. And then Tatum's going to be fine. But is it me? And we're going to talk some trash here. Has Jason Tatum, and we have to because it's Celtics, has Jason Tatum kind of hit that point along with Jaylen Brown where they're just regular season warriors?
For now?
Yeah.
I mean, you
got to the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you got to the NBA Finals, and then nothing came. Much ado about nothing, right? And so that didn't help you out. And then you got eliminated by us, and we've eliminated you before. What are you going to come out of this, kids? What are we going to do? But
speaking
we'll see where Missoula takes us.
The Sixers are 8-1.
Oh, man. Love it. Because Tyrese Maxey coming out saying, hey, I can be that guy. Mr. Crybaby MVP, Joel Embiid, who we like him. We like Embiid. We like Embiid. But he clamored so hard for that MVP-ness, not realizing that's all made up and none of it matters. You know, it should have been Jokic anyway. But Nick Nurse, it's so weird. Can't do it on his own for a couple of years, dealing with management not paying him money. But once he just goes and replaces somebody else's stuff, he's a fixer. He's basically like Bruce Arians, it feels like. You're like, all right, this was Doc Rivers' team. I'm a real doctor. He's the JD. Let me show you the doctor of competent basketball. And then boom. Because that's a scary team. It's balanced. It passes. It does a lot of stuff. And, at the end of the day, it knows what it wants to be, unlike every Doc Rivers team. Doc's just like, we're just going to pass the ball. And that gruff voice of his. Oh, we're going to pass the ball. All right, Doc. You want to do something if they clamp down on your point guard and everything? And they can't do lobsy? We're going to pass the ball. Have you seen him on? I've been having some fun with him.
I haven't watched any NBA games. So
this is so I feel like it's really me that has to lead the charge. It's fun.
I haven't watched any. I'm just following the NBA through tweets alone.
Well,
that's
buddy, it's a good time.
That's the cursory view of the NBA right now. I haven't even been able to watch a Heat game. This is legitimately. This is the most I've watched an NBA game. It's the background of our show right now.
Well,
in the little corner there. The Heat are up 68-58 right now.
There you go. We're gonna be 7-4, and you guys are gonna be licking my taint.
Third quarter, it's like 8 or something into it. So there we go.
This brings me. Today has been a day of erections, and I am still erect.
All right. Well, that's the NBA. I do want to talk some hockey though.
Okay, let's do it.
Because we've already got a firing, Charles.
Is it Connor Bedard's boy? Not Connor Bedard, but Connor McDavid's buddy?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've been filing, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Edmonton Oilers have had a disastrous start to their season, Charles.
And weren't they in the Western Conference playoffs last year?
Oh yeah. They indeed were.
You see, or guys, I'm going to be a new man by the end of the year.
And as always, the Edmonton Oilers are expected to do many, many things because they've got at least 2 of the top 10 players in the NHL on their roster right now. And yeah, it was a disastrous season to start. They're 4-9-1 now. So they're 2-0 since the firing of Jay Woodcroft, their head coach. And well, the straw that broke the camel's back was really the fact that they lost to the San Jose Sharks,
who are ass. Correct.
The Sharks are historically awful right now, Charles. Which means that they'll defeat the Florida Panthers. They'll defeat the Florida Panthers tonight. Watch.
Everybody has one, man.
I know, and I feel like the Panthers will find a way to. We've got our backup goalie in tonight, Stolarz. But yeah, the Sharks are terrible. They've only scored. They have an average of 1 goal per game right now. They played their first 9 games and only scored 9 goals.
So how does that happen when you're going that deep into the playoffs?
There are individual players who have more goals than the Sharks have as a team.
Is there injury related, or is it just we suck?
Oh no, the Sharks are terrible. They are legitimate. This is the Shark Tank, Charles.
Well, I'm speaking in regards to the Oilers.
Oh, the Oilers is just because they've been underperforming.
Okay, which happens a lot,
Really, it's not that they're injured. People speculated Connor McDavid's injured and is playing through something, but really the Oilers' problem is that they're underperforming. They're a good regular season team. Always have been. They just can't get it done in the playoffs, which means they're slightly better than the Angels in that regard. But the thing with the Oilers has always been their defense and their goaltending. That's always been the thing that they can't seem to figure out. Much like the Angels with their pitching. So there's a lot of parallels between them and the Edmonton Oilers, but yeah, it was nothing to do with the fact that their coach lost the room. None of that. None of that was the issue. It was just
into a lull, and they said, "Hey, it's over."
Yeah, usually sometimes this happens where the players legitimately like their coach and he hasn't lost the locker room, but manager's just like, "Well, you guys suck, and we can't fire you guys, but we can fire the guy that you like and see if that'll help."
Wasn't that what happened to Kevin Owens' favorite hockey manager?
Well, the Bruce Boudreau situation with the Canucks last year was different.
Okay,
that was more. Gosh, man, that was just awful. That was just an awful way to treat your coach with a team that was injured to hell, young, even though they've had a good start to this season now. But it was just an awful situation.
Oh, no.
I can't compare it to this one.
Okay. See, we're asking the real questions, guys. And I have a follow-up when we're done with the NHL. We're going to keep the NHL because there's a question related to NHL 23 or 24. But continue.
So, yeah. Well, the Oilers have essentially woken up. We'll see. We'll see how long this lasts. But, I mean, it happens a lot in hockey where coaches get fired this early into the season. And sometimes it works out beautifully. Sometimes they will legitimately win the Stanley Cup afterwards. It happened to the Penguins. Penguins did the same thing, and they hired Mike Sullivan to take over, and suddenly they win back-to-back Stanley Cups, and it's like, oh, okay. Coaching is kind of weird in the NHL in that way.
It's more player-based reliance.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, we've seen it with basketball like that, too.
You know the thing about Shoresy, Charles?
Yeah.
The one thing that I believe a lot of stuff is exaggerated with all this stuff, and there's, but one of the things with Shoresy that they do legitimately capture in a way, even in an exaggerated form, is how emotional hockey can be.
When he's always crying.
For everybody, really. Especially like Shoresy. Players in hockey seem to feed off of emotion more than anything else. And so you can have all the systems, you can have all the ways that you can practice and everything like that, design plays and what have you. And the game is based on variance with just legitimately puck luck, which the Oilers had as well. They had bad puck luck to start the season as well, whereas just things were not bouncing their way. And eventually you would hope that things would balance themselves out for that team. But players go on emotion. And if they like their coach, they'll play hard for him, and that's what will drive them through everything, right? And the thing about Shoresy is just like, in a way that's the spirit of hockey in a sense. So if you can kind of jive with that, you'll understand the motivation of players in the NHL. Can you do
a Shoresy voice for us?
Oh,
fucking losers!
Fucking losers!
For what?
We will never lose again. I haven't. That was not a good version of a Shoresy voice, but yeah.
I mean, Jared Kiso just does it on his own, kids.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the big thing that happened over last week was this with the Oilers, and it's we'll see how it works out for them. I can keep going here. The Calgary Flames are also kind of awful. They're 4-8-2. Jonathan Huberdeau is completely broken as a player now.
Well, yeah. Sorry, Andrew. We don't want to rub it in your face, but you were. The thing is, you might think, oh, Andrew was just kidding, Charles. No. Andrew was dead serious when he says that. Matthew Tkachuk, which I said it properly. I think I almost know how to spell his name right now. Was a worse trade than Huberdeau. Lo and behold, Huberdeau is injured to hell.
Yeah. And it wasn't that he was injured. It's just now Huberdeau is not injured at all.
He's old.
No, he's just bad. He's bad now. He's a bad hockey player. It's sad to watch. He was benched for an entire third period, Charles.
Is that a fault of the team that got him, or or just their coaching?
Last year, it seemed like it was the fault of coaching.
Okay.
That in the last year, the head coach was, oh man, I'm losing it now, man. Daryl Sutter, who won 2 cups with Stanley with the Los Angeles Kings, and he, for whatever reason, the Flames hired him, but hiring him is hiring a very old coach who has a very old philosophy to hockey. Mm-hmm. This is not a run and gun style offense if you're playing for Daryl Sutter. It's more about grinding and defense and everything like that.
They want to win 1-score games instead of winning by 50.
Essentially, yeah. And that's how those Kings teams won. They were just great defensively and had great goaltending. But the Flames were not built that way. And Jonathan Huberdeau is definitely not built that way because he's not a great defensive player. He's always been great on offense and had the NHL record for points in a season for a right winger with the Panthers. But he essentially goes to Calgary. They give him a big contract extension. He's stuck there for the next 8 years, and they did it.
Now you said he's closer to 30, if I remember correctly, versus getting Tkachuk.
Yeah, I think he's 30 or 31 at this point. So, and the Flames offered him like an 8-year contract because the Panthers gave Tkachuk an 8-year contract. And of course Tkachuk scorned the Flames because he demanded to leave, and he only wanted to go to one place, and it was Florida.
Sounds awfully familiar.
And the Flames were able to get it done, and but not every South Florida team can get a player like that, right, Charles? But yeah, Huberdeau's been bad this season, and it's sad to see. I don't know what can get him out of that funk, but I've seen some videos as to how he's playing, and very much so that the fact that he's not really moved, or at least the plays that the Flames are setting up are not the same as they were in Florida. Florida's offense, especially the last 2 seasons he was there, was definitely a run and gun style of offense. And the Flames don't really carry the puck in. They kind of slow things down a little too much, and there's not really much movement. So he doesn't have as many options to go with anything. With the Panthers, he'll have options on the ice. That's why he got so many assists. He could basically see all over the ice and see that there's somebody open somewhere at the very least. The Flames offense doesn't really move that way.
It's an ISO kind
essentially, yes. So Huberdeau will, let's say, carry the puck across the blue line, and he'll have 2 or 3 defensemen converging on him, and he will not have anybody running up and joining on the play because there's nobody there to pass to. So he'll turn over the puck, and suddenly you lose possession, and now the other team's coming back the other way. So it's not good. Let's keep going here. The Seattle Kraken are 40 points, or not 40 points. Gosh, man, not that. 13 points. They're next after that. Whatever. We'll see how that things go. The Anaheim Ducks are having an all right start to their season. They've got 16 points. Maybe they'll finally have that bounce back compared to last season where they had a bunch of injuries. And Frank Vatrano is another former Panther. He is having a very good start to the season, scoring a lot of goals there. And then we've got the Los Angeles Kings, who are a good hockey team and should be fine. I've told you before. Surprise start to the Vancouver Canucks season. They've got 23 points in 15 games. Looking good. They're healthy. They're young still. And I guess maybe an actual direction for this franchise and not have, not making coaches cry is helping them out. So,
do you think Vancouver hates the fact that they can't have a player like Kachuk who goes the Canuck Kachuk? It'd just be so good.
Yeah, well, maybe depends. We'll see what happens in Ottawa with Brady because Matthew's not going nowhere. And then the Golden Knights are always good, and they're 25 points. And
side note, Yaquez has 8 points. Just saying.
All right.
Remember, I jumped off the Tyler. I jumped back onto. I didn't even get onto the bandwagon. I just supported Tyler. I got off on this whole crazy train Milwaukee and trading everybody.
So that's the Pacific Division. The Central Division, the Predators are not good. Not good to start the season. It's
just garbage.
Yeah, I guess last season's kind of last gasp to try and make the playoffs was just the players playing over their heads, and now it's pretty much they're in a transition. You got Barry Trotz. He's got to rebuild this team somehow, and I guess this is his first year to see kind of what they've got and what they can do to move forward from here. The Chicago Blackhawks are not doing well to start the season with 10 points, but they have definitely hit on Connor Bedard. Andrew's tirade in the group chats.
We just need him to get onto the show on this.
Came out of a massive flurry of jealousy because Connor Bedard was picking apart the Tampa Bay Lightning.
How are they? I might have missed out on it.
We'll get to it.
Okay, good.
But Bedard did that, and then the Hawks come down to Sunrise, and Bedard scores 2 goals in the Panthers, which I was like, this kid's the real deal.
No, your reaction was like, you know what? Yeah, it is rigged.
Yeah, but the kid's the real deal.
I was howling.
The dude is the real deal. He is very, very good. A defensive liability for now, but he is offensively incredibly gifted. The 2 goals that he got, picking apart Kevin Stenlund and just absolutely putting it past Bob. And then the other one was just a snipe. He's just too. I don't even know how he got it in that from that angle, but he did. And then Dmitry Kulikov put him on his ass. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
but basically smashed his face into the boards, which gave the Panthers power play and everything like that. Eventually turned the tides of the game. The Panthers won, but the dude's real. The dude is real. Connor Bedard is really, really good at hockey. And yeah. All right, the Minnesota Wild. Man, I really don't really pay much attention to Minnesota.
West Coast is tough, man.
I know, but they're not starting off well. And yeah, that's kind of one of the things that people. The Arizona Coyotes have had a somewhat okay start to the season.
The Coyotes that are perpetually sucking.
Well, they are perpetually sucking, perpetually don't have a home.
I'm gonna learn these teams' names, guys. I'm gonna know their players. I'm so into it right now.
But they've got 15 points to start the season. They're always, of course, trade fodder for now.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys may be playing over their heads. Nick Bjugstad, who was another former Panther, maybe he could be available at the trade deadline at some point. The Coyotes don't keep this up, but I do want them to keep it up because I would love to see a playoff game at that very tiny arena that they've got at Arizona State. Just to see it. I would love to see the prices for that because
aren't they supposed to be doing something with the Phoenix Suns, or were they just borrowing?
No, that I don't know. I don't know what's the plan for now. They were supposed to build something in Tempe with as their own thing, and then I'm not sure, but maybe something with the Suns. I'm not sure either because the Suns kind of want to do their own thing and have their own control of the arena.
Sarver's gonna be gone. I think. Didn't they just sell it? Yeah, they just sold it, or they sold him off.
Yeah, they just sold the team, but I don't think the new ownership wants to share an arena with anybody.
Sure,
anyways, the St. Louis Blues are 15 points. Haven't really been paying attention to them. Winnipeg's doing all right. They've got 16 points. They were kind of starting off bad, but it was just like, okay. It was just like the first a week and a half, and then they brought it back. And then the Colorado Avalanche are, they're good. They got 18 points, 14 games. And the Dallas Stars are also good. 21 points, 14 games. As expected, they should be good. So that's the West. The Eastern Conference, so the Metro. The Columbus Blue Jackets are terrible, and they should be.
Okay. Fuck you, Kanda.
Not as terrible as San Jose. Not a historically terrible team, but still a bad team. They've lost 5 in a row. And, yeah. The New York Islanders are starting off slow. They've lost 5 in a row. Don't know what's going on with them. The goaltending is kind of suspect right now, and people don't know why. It was pretty good last season. The Pittsburgh Penguins are 14 points in 13 games. They've won 4 in a row now, so they might finally be hitting their stride. But they started off kind of slow, and I think that might just be chemistry issues just to start. Because they've got Carlson, they've got these faces. They kind of have to figure out how they're gonna do things. So I think that is more a chemistry thing. Once more, I feel like Pittsburgh should make the playoffs if all of those guys can stay healthy, and that was always the question. The Flyers are 50 points, 15 games. It's an all right start to the season for them, but they're not expected to keep that up. The Devils also 15 points in 13 games. People were concerned to start the season because, like, oh man, they're not winning, they're not scoring as much, but they should be. There's too much talent, especially with that offense, that they should be fine. The Washington Capitals 16 points in 13 games. Another thing, I can kind of compare them to Pittsburgh. They're an older team, but if they stay healthy, they should be fine. Ovechkin's kind of slowed down a little bit to start the season, having a slow start. But, you know, he's like 38, so it's to be expected. And, you know, even if he plays relatively average, that's good enough for me, especially if he wants to beat Gretzky's record. But yeah, the Capitals are fine. The Hurricanes, the same thing. 18 points in 15 games. They faced off against the Panthers once again, and the Panthers spanked that ass once more. They just can't get enough, man. Yeah, that is my third one. That's my third. Okay.
I believe so.
And the New York Rangers are having a fantastic start to their season. They're looking really, really good, Charles. It's a very, very well constructed.
Isn't this kind of the make or break year for them?
Well, the window's open for them. Those are some championship aspirations. They've got Shesterkin as their golden boy goalie now. They've got a very, very good offense. And yeah, the window's wide open, Charles. Because the next sure as hell ain't going to do it. It's going to be the New York Rangers.
Knicks ain't ever going to do it.
All right. And then the Atlantic Division. This should round us off into the non-sponsor segment. But Ottawa, 12 points in 13 games. They're starting off kind of slow. But I think this should be a relatively more competitive team going forward. The Buffalo Sabres, the same thing. They're 15 and 15 games. And the Montreal Canadiens is surprising to start the season. They've got 16 points in 15 games. But it's a -9 goal differential, Charles. And unlike in baseball where you can kind of sort of get away with having a bad offense if you have great pitching, I can't see this keeping up for Montreal.
Not with goalies.
Yeah, with defense and goaltending. Yeah, it's a nice start to their season, but many people, including myself, don't believe that is going to last. But they've got some good pieces, Cole Caulfield and everybody else, to start their season. It's as a young core that will eventually, hopefully for them, get better. But, you know, all right, fine. You know, let them have their month and a half or so. Tampa Bay, 16 points, 15 games. They don't have their Vasilevsky until December or the end of December or what have you.
I think that's Andrew's excuse from the group chat.
Yeah, but even then, if you read the group chat, I still believe that the Lightning have enough talent that if they can hover at or even just slightly below 500 and then get Vasilevsky back, they'll be fine.
Which Andrew does not.
Which, yeah, but he's too doom and gloom, if you ask me.
Yeah, he needs to be like me with the Titans, where I'm just like, hey, this is great. Everybody's gonna suck. There's no expectations.
Well, for me, I'm just looking at it objectively. I'm like, that's still a very talented group of skaters that they've got there. So if even average goaltending, if at best,
what people need to understand
can
about
get
Andrew
you over the top,
is that out of all his teams, he is, aside from UCF, and God knows I don't need to bring this up, but with the Lightning, it's that he got to enjoy a very peak era. And so there's great things about peak era. It's essentially my 96 on Yanks and then our Heat, when we come into it. But there's nothing worse than when it's over, when it's legitimately over, when it's done, when the trades start happening and the injuries occur and everybody's old.
Yeah, salary cap is crunching you. And
it's
like
coming.
Yeah.
And I think
it's already it's here. It's already here for the Lightning.
And that's the thing. The doom and gloom is very preparatory.
The Lightning
never prepare for it.
Yeah, the Lightning are in a window period where they could try and see if they can get that next gasp, maybe of contention. Maybe they can go on a little bit of a run. Maybe just depending on certain matchups and what have you. They've got the talent for it for sure. And if Vasilevsky comes back with half of the season still left, he'll be fresher than he normally has been in a playoff run, and he could win you some games. So there's a possibility. Yet, yes, the Lightning still have one more in them, right? Or they can. That's always a possibility, and that's why I was like, hey, all right, Vasilevsky's out, but the doom and gloom, I don't see it unless they have really terrible goaltending. But that's not really the case. They're a -1 goal differential just to start.
That's fine.
It's okay. Once again, the skating talent is too good, and average goaltending will get them enough to, once you get Vasilevsky, is like, okay, now that'll shift you into at least one of those wild card spots.
But
that you'll be battling with somebody.
What makes it fun here, we talk about year Francisco, year Charles. It's our favorite thing to do, But year of Andrew has yet to hit because in the sporting world, it might have peaked to a degree. And peak, I haven't begun to peak. Anybody who's watched It's Always Sunny, just for those who are like, why is this man quoting some stuff? It's on a downturn for him for 3 teams that he supports.
Yeah.
Because it's on the downturn in Tampa.
Yeah, the Rays are going to trade Glasnow or something.
They're going to trade Glasnow, or they're just never going to, cover to it. And we always make the joke about Tropicana getting needles. There's going to be a more full Trop for Royal Rumble. I'll be there. Then probably a playoff game for the Rays. And it's on the downturn, too, for UCF. I understand they just had a big win. I get that. They are not ready for the Big 12. Or what is Big 12 now? It's not Big 10 they're in, or are they in Big 10?
Big 12. I think the 10 is like Ohio State and all those games.
Yeah, okay. That's the whole thing. They need to rechange it, go from big to mega. Just like, we're the Mega 10, baby. But yeah, so this is not good for him. So I want to see what his mental psyche is when he really sees it all go to hell. He doesn't care about the Magic, which is understandable. I wouldn't care about the Magic either. But UCF, which is bread and butter, right? And then the Lightning, which has been his carry base. I'm right now, because I know he hasn't been on a show a long time, but he has not taken praise to the Jaguars, so I'm revoking his return back to the Jaguars, and now he's just pure neutral. He was riding the Tampa train, and, he didn't want to take his licks about being a bandwagon or whatever. I lived in Tampa, too. You don't see me jumping on it. They're like a secondary to me for whatever. But then back to Jacksonville. Now Jacksonville, when we get to the Petty train, you're going to find out why it's like about some stuff. So I feel bad, but we love live reactions, because the one thing you guys have to understand about humanity is we don't share in the same way with joys. We share in the same way with miseries. And you guys have heard my live reaction misery of AJ Brown getting traded. We have heard your post reactions of your teams getting farther than losing.
Yeah. We were doing a show while the Panthers were losing the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah. So now it's just Andrew's turn. It's fine. We had a little bit of it with the Rays lost to the Dodgers, but it wasn't. No one was stocking.
It was 2020, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. The Red Wings are 18 points in 15 games. Nice start to their season as well. Maybe this is the actual jump that they're finally moving forward with the Yzer plan. Not sure, but it's a good start to the season. And okay. The Florida Panthers, 19 points in 14 games. They are hot right now. They're hitting their stride. Their defense is looking very, very good, especially on the penalty kill. And we are getting bodies back. We got Sam Bennett back. We're probably getting Brandon Montour back, maybe in this road trip to California. And Aaron Ekblad might be within, at least by the end of December, at least, we hope. So the Panthers getting bodies back. The defense looking really, really good. Some all right to solid goaltending for Sergei Bobrovsky. And, they got great offense with Sam Reinhart not leading the league, but he's tops in the league right now, having a very, very hot start to the season. All right. And the Boston Bruins, 24 points in 14 games. Do it in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think that is all of our mantras every time we do something. We say, do it in the playoffs,
All right. But they're good. They're a very, very good hockey team.
And how does that make Francisco?
What?
Because you should be in this position, right? If you were in the finals.
The Panthers doing all right. Yeah, it's okay. It's an okay spot for the Panthers. This is actually going better than I expected just to start the season. And yeah, I mean, it's fine by me. But so far, the Panthers have faced 3 of their Eastern Conference opponents from last playoff run, and they beat Toronto, they beat Carolina, and they lost in overtime to Boston. So that's all right to start as far as like a nice barometer of where they're at. Okay. All right. Well, Charles, we're at 1 hour and 7 minutes. Time for a word from our non-sponsors.
I do have one thing I want to comment on for NHL for the hockey. Just think. Hockey. So I have a theory, and this is how we're going to learn the hockey, I think, because I think I could put it for the show, for a good portion where I'm going to take, and I want to hear your I take your insight onto this. You give me a team to play, and I can only play as that team per week.
Oh, an NHL?
Yeah. To best learn.
To best learn the game of hockey?
Well, not just learn the best game of hockey, but also it's part about knowing the rosters and the depthness and everything. That's how you learned. That's how I learned essentially, Madden when I was getting into
I'll say this.
The NFL.
All right. As much as I don't want to suggest this team to you,
we got to get starters. Well, it's almost going to be almost every one of them.
I feel like I should because they are legitimately a good hockey team, and it's very well run. And it might be kind of corny as well, given where you're from, but I would say the New York Rangers.
Fine, because the thing is, I know comparable information regarding the Panthers, and then the Rays, and then the Lightning, obviously. And, there might be some things about the Bruins, but the idea is that for as long as the duration of the show, unless I don't want to get bored, right, is I will take like teams that I don't know about, play as them, and then also play against whoever the computer gives me. And it's not about creating a player. That's the thing. I don't want to create a franchise. I'm not going to create a full franchise of just one specific team. I'm not going to create a player and have imaginary franchise.
I can give you 2. An Eastern Conference team, the New York Rangers, a Western Conference team, the Dallas Stars.
Okay, because it's coming in tomorrow. It didn't come in today because I literally had to think about it, the 11th hour thought process. But I think this is the best way to learn, because the last time I played NHL was NHL 2009, I think. And you're talking about, it was the dude, whoever the Minnesota Wild was, they had a guy on there, or I picked somebody from the Minnesota Wild. I don't remember. And I try to do the creative player kind of gig, and that's not the best way to learn.
Yeah.
We're trying to learn players' names, optics, coaches, different game plans. And it does work to a degree, Matt. It's not the most educational, but when I was getting into football when it was like 2004, 2005, you really built into it by learning what a cover 3 was alongside other things. If I get set, it's because I have to charge my laptop 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But so I will go with the Rangers when it comes in, and then the other portion of my playthroughs. And mind you, this might get us like 6 or 7 games into it during a week, but this is like perfect because there's some times where I just can't play Sonic. I'm tired, or if I'm doing the show, right? So we might be able to get a division. So it's the Rangers, and who was the other team?
What is Duncan Robinson doing? He's actually going to the rim. And
he figured out being a small forward actually requires.
He got a steal now. Here in the fourth quarter, 89-83, passed it off to Jaquez, who gets blocked, but they're calling a goaltending.
If you notice, every team or every player that was said to be getting traded is performing to their level, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's see.
Who is my other team?
The Dallas Stars.
Dallas Stars. Okay. The only thing I remember about the Dallas Stars, I believe Ali Jokinen played there at some point for them when he was getting traded around.
Yeah, I think something stupid like that. All right. Well, word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concept, what have you, and Lorenzo Ball just missed the ball. Missed a shot. Okay, the Heater looking good, 91-83, Charles. And Josh Richardson just missed it, but bam with the rebound. And then Duncan, and he misses it. All right. Well, people, places, whatever. We're enjoying it last week. What have you been enjoying, Charles?
All right, let me pause it because there's a lot of stuff I can suggest. Sonic's not going to be there just yet.
Season.
Yeah, right. We're going from there, and how I do this is I just bring up my Low Chase thing because I was thinking about today, and I decided I got to do it. So, Francisco, you know that the phrase of "you're gonna love the way you look," whatever that show or that commercial has from. Well, I'm not like that. My whole basis of It's the vanity. And my whole basis of getting, and I mentioned them last year around this time, I'll mention them again, you got to get the right kind of clothes that fit you. In a profession like us, we don't need to be the guys who are wearing the brown slacks and the mismatched shirts and the bad ties and the overly puffy shirts. We are $1 million men. Okay? We're not $250,000.
I'm a 5-star man.
I'm a 5-star man. And I am a 5-star man, right? So I went shopping over the weekend. They didn't fit. Today, I exchanged them, and my non-sponsor is just going to be Express. Don't ask me how much I paid for what I paid for.
I think you've done this before.
I have last year when I got my suit jackets. But, it comes down to why I pick Express for men's, or Express for ladies. Y'all can go wherever. Is that I like a little bit of the material. It's a little bit easier on my suit jackets and my pants because it's not wool, right? And I'm breathing easier. We live in Florida. I used to get a lot of their dress shirts, not as much now. Now I've kind of gravitated to Michael Kors and Calvin Klein Steel, which I've non-sponsored before via Macy's, and you guys seen it. But today, and I live in Florida, and I have a very strong rule about not buying long sleeve shirts that's not work related, but 'tis the season. It does get cold at some point, like 4 times out of the year. And I got, over the weekend, it was a 40% sale on shirts, but this was buy one, get one 50, so it's about the same price.
Yeah, a bunch of sales.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is the year. It is the season. Black Friday is only non-existent, or only exists on Fridays. A lot of people, they're just putting in whatever deals they got. I got a nice green sweater, which you saw in the chat. Muy guapo, right? I feel full of my vanity. And I got a long sleeve polo because I had to make use of the buy one. But it fits the body right, hugs it right. You're getting to peak season. Hot Goof summer is over, but fine Goof fall is in play. We're leading into the winter season of the Wow Goof winter. And then we'll go to He Got Me Sprung Spring Goof. It's going to be perfectly fine. And I just find that, these shirts, I have a polo, regular one. It just kind of shows the right biceps. It's all artificial. It's all fake. It's the male equivalent of a push-up bra. But it worked well. So I'm going to give the shout out to them. I'm going to give the non-sponsor to them. Don't ask me how much I paid for it, please. But ask me how I felt trying it on and be like, damn, yeah. And that's the whole thing about shopping. You don't have to have the low ego, the low mantra. Outer beauty is inner beauty. I know it's the most terrible thing you guys are going to hear me out, but you know what? If you've ever been through a middle school and grown up through there in a public education, you'll understand. But Express got the right styles for me, shapes my body right. I like the material on the nipples because, sometimes they kind of get itchy and all that fun stuff. Dress shirts, I still have a couple of them from there. I get some ties from them. I like them. They're a cup of tea, that I would say. So, Express, get you some Black Friday deals. Try it out. See what's economical. Do not buy them at full price. I will not disclose how much I paid for today. But, if you have to get some suits, if you have to get some dress shirts, you can go above the club room that you get at Macy's, which I'm just not crazy about the material. You can go above George's at Walmart for a few bucks more if the right sale comes in. And I think they're pretty good with their sales. They'll go like 50% on Black Friday or during the holiday season. So get you some promo code Golden God. No. Let me rephrase it. No, we'll keep it. It's the same essence of $1 Million Man. I cannot disclose to you guys why, because it might involve litigation. But we ain't $250,000 men. We're $1 Million Men over here.
Okay. Alrighty then. All right. Yeah,
You balked,
Huh?
You balked. You saw those sweaters, and you're like, I can wear those.
For now at least. I gotta get sexy though for a wedding eventually. So, trying to control myself, Charles. I've tried. I'm checking the weight now, making sure I'm at where I'm at, and we'll see. Just gotta chip away at it for sure. Work out tomorrow. Well, Charles, I thought it was gonna be one thing, but it's not. It's not. I'll wait.
Oh, you
You
can do double. You can do double.
Maybe. We'll see.
We're always allowed 3, technically.
Technically, right? We can go on and off between taking Andrew's bit.
Yeah.
But I'll go with the first one, then we'll see if I feel like doing the other one. I'll go with Jungle Island. So this is...
Okay, I know what you're talking about. All right.
So this is a zoo in Miami. It's on one of the islands along the along Biscayne Bay, and it's just a nice little small area that you can bring the kiddos to, and you can look at certain animals that they've got parrots, they've got macaws, they've got different monkeys and marmosets and skunks and snakes and all kinds of stuff. So tortoises, it's a small little thing. They've got a luminosa thing that they're going on. So like you go at night and it's all neon and what have you. So they've got owls and things like that. They've got stuff for the kiddos. They got a little play park or what have you. And you can pay to get closer to some animals here. But I went here recently with my nephew for his birthday. This was my idea to take him someplace different. And the kiddos enjoyed it very much, Charles.
See, ladies, he's a family man.
See, Hard Rock Bets? I'm a family man.
It's a family man.
And yeah, it was fine. It was nice. They had some pretty good lemonade, I'll tell you that much. Very, very much hit the spot there. And they give you you can buy some pellets. You can feed some fish as well along the little makeshift river that they've got there. They've got some koi and stuff like that. So it's nice. It's nice, and it's in so much shade, Charles.
Oh, thank you,
Like
Christ.
it's not hot whatsoever. It's on the island, so yes, it can be humid, but they've got shade everywhere. There's foliage and plants and trees and artificial shade everywhere. So there's along the paths that they do have, there's nary a spot for the sunlight to just beam right through and bake you. So that was a really, really nice thing about this place. I would say in comparison to other zoos out there where you're going to be toiling around and it's hot and all that stuff, especially down here in Florida. So that was the thing that surprised me the most. I think that's why I enjoyed this more than anything else. Because I was walking around, I was telling my mom, I'm like, hey, man, this place has got a ton of shade. She's like, yeah, it's great. I'm like, because they go to the Palm Beach Zoo all the time, Charles.
Well, I remember when I went to the zoo in February, and I was like,
Yeah.
shorts, and I'm like, guys, I'm freaking dying here,
Yeah, but here, man, just shaded everywhere. It was great. Wonderfully, thoughtfully built in that sense. I think a lot of other zoos in South Florida or Florida in general, or just in general anywhere,
That's why I just can't do Disney, man.
should take notes. Take notes on how you do the amount of shading there. So yeah, that's what I did. Whatever. An iguana licked something off my shoe for some weird reason. I don't know what was on there, but it was licking it. Promo code. What the hell was on my shoes? Okay. I guess I'll do the next one, Charles. Let's go. Let's get it out of the way. Because if it's not this week, it's next week. And I'm going to talk about it anyways. It's going to be Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Can you hear me, Charles? Did I lose you again? I think I lost him. Hold on. I'll get him. Hold on. It's fine. I think I do have to get a new cord for this thing. So we both have to get new stuff, Charles. Can you hear me now, Charles?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
This is your Goof Tech session.
I think we both need to get new stuff, Charles, because I need to replace this cord for my microphone then.
I thought it was me.
I'm not even. I'm barely moving, and just like a slight nudge, and you go away. So that's unfortunate for everyone. But my second non-sponsor is Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
There you go. Yeah, I was expecting that.
Getting it out of the way now, because we're gonna talk about it eventually. Because I am into it now, Charles. Very much so.
8 Game of the Year nominations. No, not going to win anything. It's either going to be Boulders or Zelda, but 8 game nominations so far.
And that's the music that's going on in the background for tonight's show anyways. And yeah, this is... man, this is just so much better than New Super Mario Brothers. There's life to it. There's character to it. It does feel like they really did pay attention to like the personalities and just small little animations and tidbits and voice clips that make you feel like, okay, this is an actual lively video game. So that's what's hit me the most thus far. Mario's got his new voice actor now.
How's that differential? I mean, it didn't sound different to me.
He sounds younger. Yeah. Like Charles Martinet is a 60-year-old man, right? He was going to sound older. Even in some of the games, you could tell that they're reusing clips from like the GameCube era for some of the stuff that he probably can't hit the high notes much anymore. So the new guy does sound younger. There's just you can hear the youth in Mario's voice. And I've been pulling off the Mario voice ad nauseum during my playing thing. Mamma mia! And I showed you one of that clip of me beating one of the harder levels in the game.
I was laughing,
and I was legitimately with the Mario voice that I can do, and that was not an act. I was legitimately just so very happy that I got through it, and that's the beauty of this. Yes, there's the easier levels, and each level is marked with different stars. Just tell you how hard that level is. 5 stars are most difficult. 1 star is the easiest levels. So you don't have to play all the levels if you don't want to.
What? Cowards in here?
Yeah. There are some levels that you do have to play because that's the way the world is structured. There's different areas, much like in Super Mario World or Super Mario Brothers 3 or even New Super Mario Brothers. You go from one place to the other. But you don't have to go in linear fashion for some levels, for some portions of the map.
I think that would give me anxiety. That's like,
yeah,
I couldn't do that.
I think it's more for people that maybe they can't get through the level as easily, so they can just sort of...
Just play as Nabbit.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing here. You can play as different characters: Mario, Peach, Luigi, Daisy, Toads, Toadette, and then easy mode is the Yoshis and Nabbit. Yeah. So they don't take damage, and you can just keep playing. But you don't even have to. There's so much stuff that the elephant fruit, that's the new thing where you turn into an elephant. Meh.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I'm mad on it. Because
I heard the drill one's good.
The drill one is fantastic. I love the drill mushroom. It's great. The elephant, I mean, you just turn into a big...
I mean, I have an elephant tattoo on me.
I know that.
Listen, so I'm like, I got to.
But there's not much practical use for the elephant power-up.
I think it's more for the comedy effect.
Well, it's a Mario game. You need to have some sort of thing that he...
Probably the equivalent of the
animal.
bee. Like, the bee has, like, no use except for the one bee world.
Yeah, same thing in Super Mario Galaxy. The same thing with the elephant. I think there was, like, a flying squirrel one in New Super Mario Brothers U, so it was just like, okay. Even
That's
though
right.
Practically, it's not great.
Actually, no, it's the kitten one at Mario 3, which
Mario 3 World, yeah.
It surprised me the most that the movie went with the cat Mario, as its thing. All the other options, and they have a segment onto it against Donkey Kong. I'm like, why don't you just make him like gigantic Mario?
Well, they needed the comedic effect, and he's nimble as a cat, right? Anyways, the bubble flower is also
useless. Yeah, I mean,
not useless. It's like, useful if you really know how to platform. And then you got the drill mushroom, which is great.
Yeah, the drill, I feel like, is something that was always needed and we never got.
Yeah, you can drill on ceilings, you can drill underground and get past enemies and go into secret areas. It's great. It's a fantastic power up. You've got the wonder flower, that makes everybody trip balls. And every level is, for the most part, pretty much every level, every main level, has a Wonder Flower area where you use it, and then something wild happens. And each level has a set thing. It's a set piece. And sometimes the entire world would just turn upside down, or what have you, or giant enemies, or all kind, or things slow down, or things speed up, or things get floaty. All kinds of stuff happen. But the game changer in this, Charles, are the badges. So
tell me.
So the badges are much like, I guess, like in an RPG, they have different effects. And you can choose different badges.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you can choose different badges to go.
I didn't pay much attention to that segment, but are you saying that for the first time I can stat base my Mario?
Not really, but it's just like an extra ability that they'll give you. And you can use it to great effect depending on the level that you want to go into. Like I use the more like ability-based stuff. Mm-hmm. Some of them are, it's like, okay, you get more coins, or you get that. I don't care about that. I want to find out I want the stuff that will help me traverse the levels the best.
So you're like me with Sonic right now, not doing anything for my coins, increase all speed, power.
Right, exactly. So so far my favorite is the floaty, the big giant hat, where you can use it to kind of float across gaps. So you have that. You have another power up that will, like in Super Mario Brothers 2, where you crouch down and you get a power up jump.
Correct.
So they have a badge for that. So some of the badges are just, these are powers that we had in other Mario games. You have a wall jump. Well, you can already wall jump, but it's like a vertical wall jump. So you can kind of traverse certain areas as well with that. So those are there's like a dolphin power up where you can swim like a dolphin much faster in the water levels. They're only useful in the water levels.
Yeah, it's still something.
But I find these much more useful compared to the Chaos Emerald power-ups that I had in Sonic Superstars, where most of those, I'd say, were useless, and only like
They're
two
more of a
or three
visual
of them.
aid, probably.
Only like 2 or 3 of them were actually useful. And in this one, I guess you would say the same thing, as I haven't found all of the badges just yet. But thus far, I mean, it's going good so far. Really, I just use the floaty hat one because you can do a lot more with that, I think. But yeah. But I'm sure, like, for people who are speedrunners and everything like that, I'm sure that they're finding ways to utilize the power-ups to break the levels, I would say. And each level, to 100% the game, you have to collect there's 3 giant coins, 3 giant purple coins in each level, like in Super Mario World or whatever. And so you need those. You also need to collect the Wonder Seeds, which are at the end of levels or during the Wonder Flower Tripping Ball segment. So
are we saying if balls is a curse word or
no? No, it's not. And some levels have a secret exit, like in Super Mario World as well. So sometimes you have to find that. And you also have to get to the top of the flagpole.
Ugh.
So that is also an extra thing that you have to do. So
I will kind of say my modern day hatred of the newer Marios is that they took away that anxiety of jumping on to get to the flagpole.
Yeah, well, this one you have to jump onto the top of the flagpole in order to count it as 100%ing the level, along with getting those coins and the Wonder Seeds. So some levels you do have to go back again in order to find the stuff that you didn't find. But yeah, I mean, so far it's fine. The mini boss battles that I've had against Bowser Jr. are just, typical Mario. They're not any harder than the ones you would find in New Super Mario Brothers. They're kind of typical like that. So, or Super Mario Brothers 3 or what have you. And I haven't got to Bowser yet, but I'm in the final. I guess not the final world, because I probably have to go to like the Bowser's world, what have you. Because he's a big giant castle now. He's a floating castle.
That's not a spoiler, because I saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, that's in the trailer. So I would assume that you'll get to, invade him and try and get to whatever's inside of his brain or what have you.
I feel like I'm about to commit burglary on this reptile.
And then there's a special world.
There's always
like in Super Mario Brothers, like in Super Mario World or or even Mario 3D Land or Mario Brothers 3D World, whatever. So there's always with the hardest levels, Charles. And that's the clip that I showed you.
Yeah, and I'm that person who, like, I'll try it once or twice to be cute. You know, you try it once or try to be cute, and then you're like, nah, I'm good.
There's online co-op in this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They did add it for this one.
But it's Nintendo, so how is it?
Well, I've played it local with my sister and the kiddos, and you know, that's fine and all. And I haven't played like with friends because you know, but there's like a Dark Souls-esque type of online multiplayer where people can leave like these standees, and if you die in a level, you can hit the standee to revive yourself because you turn into a ghost for like 5 seconds. So as long as you can find one of those around you, you can revive yourself and keep going. Or there's 3 other people sometimes playing the level with you, and they can revive you too. You can't bump into each other or anything like that. They're there, so they can help you out, or they can help you like find secrets because you're seeing them in the background, and they're like, "Oh, how'd they get up there?" And it's like, "Oh," then sometimes they'll point you to, "Oh, there's a platform here," or what have you, or hidden block. So that's also been incredibly useful, and I find it very natural in a Mario game. I don't think this would work in a Sonic game because it'd be too fast-paced.
Oh, yeah, that's always a fun part, though.
So, yeah, so Super Mario Brothers Wonder, I recommend it to everybody. It's as solid. It's better than the new Super Mario Brothers games. I will say that much. Mario Brothers DS, the Wii one, the Wii U one, this is better than those 3.
Which is what we needed.
Yeah, this is...
Because as much as I love the Mario 3D Worlds, there was something about, you know, being able... I'm trying to move this damn crane in this freaking game. You know, come on. They got to work on the mini games better. I'm moving a crane in Knuckles' world because I think...
Oh, yeah, the arbitrary thing in order to get whatever the last part.
To the Chaos Emerald. But, you know, the Super Mario Wii was interesting because you could shake it, and then Wii U was like, okay, it's whatever. It's not like the most special thing. Yeah. But this is good. This is healthy. It's what we wanted. Here we are. We were talking that smack, man. We're like, oh, well, you know...
I would say
they're really Mario heavy, and then the reason why they're like, oh, because you're gonna shut up and you're gonna join. That's what they did to you.
Yeah, this is good. This is up. If you want to say 2D Mario games, this is up there with like Mario World. I think is number 1. Mario Bros. 3 would be number 2, and I would say this is number 3. Yeah,
which I think,
and then
it needs to be.
And then like Wii would be 4, and then like the original Mario Brothers would be 5. Yeah. And then Mario Land 2 somewhere around there. I'm not sure. New Super Mario Brothers 2 on the 3DS is awful. I will say that much.
But wasn't that like
that was just, oh man, that was so generic and so boring that I'm surprised I played that game so much. It
was a different time. We were a different age, but
man, sheesh, man, dark age of Nintendo, man. 2013 through 2016. Oof.
We were like the only people who had a Switch.
Yeah. Anyways, promo code Trippin' Balls. All right. We're at 1 hour and 34 minutes, my dude. I would say, let's see. We talked about hockey. There's some baseball awards coming out, but they're not all done. And tomorrow we might have the side job.
Well, you're allowed to talk about the skip slip.
Yeah, well, yeah. Corbin Carroll won the rookie for National League. Gunnar Henderson for Baltimore for the American League Rookie of the Year. And did they announce the American League? Yeah, they did the American League Manager of the Year. Who was that?
I didn't see it on the announcements, but sometimes I just check from Twitter, and that doesn't help me.
Yeah, and you just see my stuff pop up. So
pretty much. Follow
MLB, on hold on, I'm going. Brandon Hyde of the Orioles.
Oh, good. Yeah, they gave it to arguably the right one, even though you should have given it to Bruce Bochy. I think you had the fair argument if you're going to go on a regular season play. What he's able to do with it when the AL East. Okay.
All right. So, yeah, there you go for the Baltimore Orioles. And my boy Skip won for the National League because he had to.
You're the Francisco?
Well, I said it. I mean, I rambled about this while I was driving home on our Goofs account for the spaces. It's not saved, the recording. I forgot to do that. But I was just going off that. Once again, a monkey could have gotten those Braves to 100 wins. And Craig Counsell, all right job with Milwaukee. But I think Milwaukee was just a circumstance that the Cardinals sucked for the first time in 25 years. The Cubs choked. And the Reds had like one good month. And the Pirates are the Pirates. So they almost won the division by default. So I don't know how much of that, like some of that was him, sure. And probably a lot more to do with him than like Snicker and the Braves being good. Like that didn't really have much to do with him, I would say.
They were autopilot.
Yeah. Well, Skip had to actually manage that Marlins team. They had bullpen days every 5 games because we don't have a 5th starter.
And your presumptive starter was supposed to be great and then turned out being injured with Sandy.
Yeah, exactly.
Perez went elsewhere.
So earned, I don't want to harp on it too much because I could harp on it for longer. But my boy got it. We're good to go. We got a new team president also. So that's cool. And yeah. So cool beans. Go Fish. All right. So hockey, baseball, basketball. And all right, Charles, I do want to talk football. My Seminoles defeated the Hurricanes.
Yep. I was almost right.
The U is, the trap game was almost a trap game, but the U is still dead, Charles.
Fine. So let me pause this because I know we're going to go with it. Of course, I get to the Wyvern, and then, so, you know, who else is we know Sonic's not ready for the Wyvern. Okay.
I've been hearing it's been a good loss, Charles.
Was that from me?
Well, not from you, from Canes fans in general.
There's no such thing as a good loss.
It's a good loss. We got a number 4 team to within 1 score. We like there's
it's not.
Yeah.
So allow me. I actually think I said that to Derek at my parallel. I was like, because he went to FSU, SSU fan, and I'm like, it was a good loss to show that why you need competent coaching, because to steal it from the group chat, because we published it, fight on the Twitter, hard on the Twitter, repost on the Twitter, we don't care. I watched that game. Not all of it, but I watched a good majority of it. I have never seen, and it's only a college phase that comes from Pac-12 teams. I swear to Christ. And what's Mario Cristobal, a sleeper cell agent for Oregon. I've never seen such a love to go for a shotgun halfback draw when you have 2 yards to gain as much as that man. And we were in the cut. Tyler Van Dyke was accordingly benched. Emery Williams was starting. Rispato, however you say his name, Rispato was doing what he's got to do. The offense was kind of doing well, kind of not doing well. The defense had to button down the hatches, though, because we couldn't get anything going for a bit. Halftime, I was like, send you the Drake meme. Like, what you say? And then Mike Norvell was like, wait a second. Why are we outplaying ourselves here? Let's just have Mike Norvell. Oh, not Mike Norvell. Let's have Mario Cristobal mess this up. And sure enough, we did. And it goes down to just losing 27-20. All those halfback draws. And I don't want to quote what I said. Well, what was it that I said? I said he's like missionary position every single night with that guy. Pull my hair and finger. Mario, please. And it's just he's so subpar. I can get trying to do a shotgun draw at like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, maybe 3rd and 2. You're
Charles,
blitzing.
I want to say that what made me laugh a little more with what you just said was that the internet kind of got weird a little bit when it was just like, so it kind of self-censored your what you just said,
which is even better.
That's funny. I think the Heat won.
I deserve nice things every now and then. Let's see. They won 111-105.
Alrighty.
Jamie Jaquez, 17 points, 5 rebounds.
Is he Jamie or Jaime? What is he?
I don't know. I think like Jamie Lancer.
But I'm gonna go on Basketball Reference, see if they have like the pronunciation. You keep talking.
I think it's Jamie, but yeah, he would just go from there. It wasn't a good loss. There's no such thing as a good loss. There was no such thing as we tried. You lost. The whole objective in sports, unless you're football, is to not lose or not tie.
No, it's right? Jaime Jaquez.
Jaime Jaquez. Junior. So the Triple J, better than Jeff Jarrett, baby. Well, I think Jeff Jarrett's Double J these days. Yeah. I want to know where my mind's going, but I digress. There's no such thing as a loss. What it is that it does 2 things for this FSU. FSU should technically be number 2 or 3 because Michigan shouldn't be bowl eligible. But because it's Michigan that did this and not like San Diego State, which would just be banned from the year because preferential treatment, discriminatory practices is something as an attorney I cannot get behind. And the reason why I'm on this, like white on rice, is because like fly on shit 7 is because Miami was always on that teetering of the death sentence, right? With boosting. And I understand it's just scouting, improperly scouting, but the NCAA likes to do discriminatory practices and go for extremes when they feel like it. Michigan should not be in this rankings. Take it away. I'm sorry you found it. Yeah, I understand that Hara put injunction onto it to hold the order, but it doesn't matter. Your NCAA is his own body, and they're saying, okay, because you want something like he's not going to be able to coach on the game days. What the hell is this nonsense? So you guys should be ranked at 2, I would venture. I think you're better than Ohio State. I'm giving you guys the praise. This is how you build it because you learn to, you can't always pay every coach you fire, Willie Taggart, right? I'm like Jimbo Fisher. My God.
Yeah, that happened.
But the thing you need to come from is your defense has some problem solving that they got to figure out, because there was some that those deep plays that Emory Williams was able to pick off and build into. I want to see somebody from the ACC succeed that isn't Clemson, right? It just so happened to be you guys this year, so by all means, right? I think everybody had anybody but Clemson role, right? UNC, Duke, more
UNC was never going to get up there,
but they were pushing a bit, right? They were pushing.
Yeah, but I don't think any of the voters for all this stuff is so not going to give them the that.
True, and I was looking at this ranking
of praise
with Derek earlier because we do prepare sometimes for the show, guys. But the level of intensity I need you guys to do is not to take it on autopilot. Destroy Florida.
Yeah.
Destroy.
Yeah, we have our. I think this Saturday we have like our whatever FCS non-conference game, and then Florida after Thanksgiving, and then the ACC championship after.
Yeah, so just build it because I really don't want Michigan to be in there. I hope Ohio State's beat them. I hope Ohio State beats them. I never thought I would say this. I don't care for either team. I think they're both entitled douchebags. The organizations themselves, their coaches. Ryan Day's a clown trying to fight, Lou Holtz of all people. And then Harbaugh is just, we've been on the Harbaugh like anti-train for 5 years. Like, what have you done? Like, literally, what have you done? What have you done? Georgia should be ranked 1 until they lose it, right? And I don't remember who. Oh, you guys are 4, but you pop that out because I want to see chaos unfold too. Because I want to see if Washington, and I know a lot of people don't want to take in consideration because the Pac-12 is about to become the Pac-2 at the very end of days. But I want to see that kind of chaos. But before you guys go against that kind of long play offense or that fast offense, I want to see how you guys can handle it because there's some concerns on that defense. If you have Miami, which struggles to put up points when it's not a like pseudo, JUCO school, but it was a good win for you guys. It was a loss for us. It was a loss that is very similar to all the other losses that we had. That it felt within reach, but someone cannot get out of his own damn way. 8? Are we saying "damn" is a curse word?
No, nah.
The connection like of "God damn it, I'll give."
Yeah, sure.
So 8 on that then, and then 9 on that. But someone can't get it their own damn way because just 2 yards, run a big heavy. That's it. Because the SEC does it, the ACC will do it when they want to do it. But then when it comes down to, it's always like a Pac-12 mentality, shotgun draw. But when you're blitzing everybody, you have no protection, and you really have to, and you're collapsing. I'm like, what are you doing, Mario Cristobal? I hate you so much. That's all I can give you on that one. I didn't watch the other games.
That's fine.
We got Louisville this week. I'm interested.
I don't care about the rest of it. Whatever, college football is whatever. Anyways, and then Jimbo got fired out. That's funny.
Man, like you fired him because you felt that you were stuck in neutral, but like just let him, finish out the remainder 3 games and take the bowl game that comes with it. I don't. But football's weird, and you know what I feel bad for? I feel bad for the students because even though they say the AD department, all that is going to front the bill and whatnot, your tuition is going to go up. Your tuition is going to go up. Your tuition is going to go up because of this nonsense.
Yeah, that, and you've already been made fun of anyways because everybody found out you guys practice yelling for some weird reason.
I know.
It's like, we have a midnight yell, and we practice yelling before the game starts the next day. It's like, well, okay.
Football is a weird
sport. You can't be that weirdly white and not win anything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like singing "Sweet Caroline" at Fenway Park. That's a weirdly white thing that only justifies it because the Red Sox have won something in the past century.
I'm saying that "Sweet Caroline" sucks.
So
I'm saying now. Well, let's get it out there. "Sweet Caroline." Ba ba ba. What? But what's the whole
thing
point
you said to Roy was like the Latino "Sweet Caroline"?
Oh yeah. I said Suavemente is like it was like the "Sweet Caroline" or the it's either the Suavemente or the Mr. Brightside. But yeah, it is like the "Sweet Caroline" person. Because it's true. Look, I heard Suavemente the other day. I'm like, so I really wish sometimes we could publish the chat, not to go off there, but talk about music that wakes you up, because I did put on La Vida es un Carnival before court. I think we discussed it of having a
We
Cuban,
have to get back to Frankly Frank at some point. I do need to get back to culturing myself again.
But Celia's not your people's though, so it's she's not mine either. But I
know. No, I get it. I understand. But regardless, I still
all
have
I got
to.
Is all I got is like Juanes, and then if it was Argentinian music, actually I did find one called Fin de Mundo, but the joke I was going to make was probably going to be like the German national anthem for jokes about Nazis.
Oh boy. Well, there you go. All right, let's see. We're hour 46. Dear Lord, let's go into the petty train because the Panthers start at 10, and I gotta get ready for doing whatever I gotta do for that. Charles,
and the cage will be AEW centric, so you'll be okay. Because the pay-per-view, so I'll keep it short.
So, NFL Week 10, and the Dolphins didn't play, so I didn't have anything to hate this week, Charles.
Yeah. But we always have something to hate, guys.
Well, we can. We can have something to be petty about. Not really hatred, it's pettiness. So let's go down that road, Charles. So the Bears beat the Panthers in another terrible Thursday night football game.
Just, Jesus. We don't deserve to suffer. I watched like a small bit of it.
The Colts beat the Patriots in another terrible European football game.
Man, this is the last time Germans are going to let a blitz from Americans happen.
Well, I think who's some? Oh no, it was Barry McCockner.
The SS type.
Not that far. That was funny though. I just meant that it was a low-scoring boring affair, which the Europeans should be used to.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that made sense. The Browns beat the Ravens.
Man, team is going to be good in spite of everybody else not being good. Shout out to Amari Cooper and Myles Garrett. I'm never going to give it to Deshaun. Sorry.
Right. But Lamar with the touchdown and 2 interceptions there.
Yeah, he kind of struggled a little bit. And then, it happens, though. I mean, no one said he's Mr. Perfect. Browns defense is like legitimate, man. I don't play them.
It's scary. Scary if you get into the playoffs and it becomes much more of a grind.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. The Steelers also won 23-19. They find a way, Charles. Kenny Pickett really and Jalen Warren and George Pickens and TJ, not TJ. What is it? TJ? Yeah, TJ Watt. Sorry, TJ and JJ.
TJ Watt's great.
Yeah, he's retired, but it's TJ Watt.
TJ,
and they're both hockey boys, by the way. They love themselves some hockey. So yeah. So there you go. That was that.
Who do they play against?
The Packers.
Yeah, I mean, Packers are just kind of in it, where they're just trying to figure out the potential. Jordan Love. What people need to remember: Aaron Rodgers' first season was 6-10.
Yeah. So growing pains. Yeah, they're 3-6. So they're
but it's not even just growing pains. It's like maybe you guys should spend money or draft a wide receiver the first round. Just saying.
Put some pieces around some guys.
All right, we're in supersonic mode.
Yeah,
it's gonna get good.
Mike Tomlin finds a way.
Yeah,
he's like, I ain't never getting fired. The 49ers spanked the Jaguars.
Thank you. And this goes back to why I revoked Andrew's card a little bit about the Jaguars. Because, he, for 2 years, I heard the big stink, 3 years, right? But is Trevor Lawrence mid? Or they just don't use him the way he's got to be used, And I don't know, but nothing's coming up. And this is sometimes what happens when you get real teams that kind of come in, you figure it out, or you can't do other things.
It could possibly once again be that the Jaguars are going to win that division by default.
Oh man, Houston! I'm really actually rooting for them. Yeah, we're out of it, but yeah, I like what D'Amico Ryan's doing. CJ Stroud is just
well, we can let's see.
Will Levis is better than some of these quarterbacks that we already talked about.
Let's keep going. Well, is he better than Senor Joshua Dobbs, the Pastronaut?
No, there's a special kind. What happens is Josh Dobbs is like the elevated state of like alcohol hitting your body. I feel, like you feel good because you got to remember he wasn't doing the best in Zona, and he wasn't best with us. So I'm gonna harbor those ill feelings towards him. But what he's doing in Minnesota without a Justin Jefferson, without really a competent running game, is something that we have to, we have to just compliment, and I'll compliment it. I think, it's something there. I think it's special because of how you pick it up. And I really think it just kind of showed that GMs and coaches don't know what a competent quarterback looks like, plain and simple. So good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
So Will Levis right now is not better than him.
Faced off against Jameis Winston, who had a very Jameis Winston game with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Well, Jameis had to come in. Jameis had to come in because they weren't, the Saints were, not doing anything. And then, Jameis put in there because Carr got hurt, and, there's that.
Yeah. But I just love that Jameis still is Jameis in the most Jameis of ways.
Baller's got a ball, baby. But I actually did say something about Jameis Winston versus the commentary that I make about Josh Allen. It's just, it took a coach of high stature to say that Jameis is irresponsible or an idiot, and that ruined his chances because Bruce Arians sold him under the bus, man. That's the reality. No one wants to do it. But yeah, Josh Allen, who we'll get to the petty train in a second, but just saying, can't have it one way, kids.
Okay. Well, CJ Stroud, Texans.
Man. People are like, he should be an MVP consideration. I would agree with that. But the problem is because he's a rookie and he's on a team that if they don't get the playoffs, they're not going to give it to him. He is special. He is really special.
So beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
I love the fact that the Bengals are kind of ass. 8-9.
Yeah.
I can't explain it either. I legitimately
sometimes
don't.
I think it's your you don't seem to like it when people overpump a team's tires. You know what I mean? To start hyping them up to a point where it's like, was that Super Bowl run just like a fluke, and then they kind of just showed their true colors? But
they went to consecutive AFC championship games, so it's like I gotta be objective, man. I'm not being petty, but something's just not fitting, and the offense feels weird and all this stuff. And
well, let's talk about your team then, the Titans. So is Will Levis better than Baker Mayfield?
If I had a real coordinator, Tim Kelly doesn't need to be there next year.
Ken Dorsey's available now.
I don't want any of that, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm fine with either way of how that game went because I'm kind of supporting Tampa, right? And I'm supporting Titans. But at 3-6, I'm like, okay, let's figure out what this guy is. And he's just making throws that I like. Yeah, I know he's throwing – guys, I know he's throwing picks. When you're down like they were and you have no real players on offense, you're going to throw picks. This needs to tell Ron Cotton what he has to do. He's got to either draft another first round. Listen, all I'm saying, if we just don't win a single game this year, we have a very strong chance of getting Marvin Harrison Jr. Just saying. And I don't know what the Bears are going to do. I think they should probably get Caleb Williams so they don't add Marvin Harrison Jr. as a first-round pick. I don't know who the second pick would be. It would probably be the Giants, and they have so many needs that they may or may not go wide receiver. I'm just saying, just tank it out for Marvin Harrison Jr. because it's not so much of like we need a quarterback, we're not in competition. Relatively, we're still in a weird way in the game for AFC South. It's disgusting to say that, but what I'm saying is that we do
the long term solutions here.
The long con, baby.
Okay.
All I'm saying.
Then we've got the Detroit Lions beating the Chargers, or the Chargers beating themselves. I'm not sure.
The last 4 weeks has been what? Be like, I'm done talking about Justin Herbert. I'm done talking about his greatness. Talk to me when he actually has a competent coach. I agree with Barry. We're just making excuses. And when it comes to Lions, okay, show me when you're not, winning a kickboxing contest against one person with one ankle.
Okay, all righty. But they're 7-2, so.
Yeah, fair.
So that's everybody. They're 7-2 for the first time in forever, or ever, really. I can't even remember the Lions ever being good at anything. So
like dominant is the word I would say.
All right, the Kyler Murray's back, Charles. He's done. Modern Warfare 3, has it come out already? Is it coming out? I keep seeing commercials for it, but regardless,
yeah, it's out.
Okay, well, he played it over the weekend, and now he's done. So he's coming back to quarterback. And the Cardinals beat the Falcons.
It's
not the same without our favorite low brain quarterback.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kyler still plays the way Kyler plays, which is just like play goes down, he runs around, plays sandlot football, and we're just like Kyler people, man. I got pressured into getting him, and unfortunately, you got him pressuring where he doesn't even have anybody to throw to because Marquise Brown, a former first-round pick by the Ravens, isn't doing anything either. So it's like, okay. All I can say, okay.
Marvin Harrison Jr. could help with that.
Shut up.
Taking,
Shush. I mean, he could.
Is this the thing? Is this where they beat out the Cardinals for that tank?
So here's my thing about Marvin Harrison Jr. And I'm going to say this once, I'll say it now. We're doing it for every time. I see Julio Jones in that man. Like 6'2", 6'3", got the speed to catch. He can catch the ball in traffic and break on through. He's like 205, put on more muscle by 220. I see it, and I could be wrong. Sure, I don't care because I've been stuck with Traylon Burks, who's just hurt, and DeAndre Hopkins, who might not even be there next year if we trade him. Guys, I'm just trying to make something here.
Okay. The Cowboys spanked the Giants.
Not even fair. We're just stat padding. Don't get comfortable with the fact that Dak was like throwing 4 touchdowns. Good on Dak. Win, right?
But proves not much to you.
Not at all.
All right. The Seahawks beat the Commanders.
They
got to change that name because I keep trying to call them the football team, or I don't know. So I still haven't gotten used to Commanders. Anyways.
Watch out for Seattle. That's all I've said. Everybody, even when San Francisco before they lost, watch out for Seattle. Something just clicking. Just the gut instinct.
The Raiders beat the Jets.
Man, that's and
2-0 Pierce.
Yeah, that's just toxic. I mean, good for Antonio Pierce. I like him, but that was not a good way for this NFL. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Next year, can you just not put the superstar quarterbacks that you think are playing on team on every primetime game known to mankind? Because I have been subjected to bad teams being on prime time, whether it be your Thursday night games, your Sunday night games.
Well, it's been
can
the
we just
Broncos
put that in your
and
Monday
the
night
Jets
footballs?
And, and finally, the Broncos beat the Bills.
Frauds. It's just so good. They fire Ken Dorsey. Josh Allen gets all the excuses, even though he throws every pick. Problem with Ken Dorsey, and I'm gonna kind of keep it slow because I know you're on limited time. But the problem with Ken Dorsey was he made every play to look like Josh Allen had to be an MVP to justify the contract. And you just need balance. You need balance with everything that you do. The best teams, their best quarterbacks have balance. Even the Chiefs last year had balance. Not the best running, but they ran when they had to run. They were smart with it. Short yardage. Just don't try to throw deep balls. They did not get the right number 2. The 12 men on the field, the missed kick. People were debating if that was a pass interference. It was. Sorry, you can't push on like that. You can turn your body around and slap it. Just beautiful. And the fact that Will Lutz missed it in the 12 man on the field, man, chef's kiss.
The meme, the clip.
Because so here's the reason why Francisco doesn't like the
it.
Bills, because of the fact that they're in the same division. I don't like the Bills because literally they played.
I never said I didn't like the Bills. I kind of need the Bills to be good to justify my narrative about the Dolphins.
This is true, but at the end of the day, there's still you being a Dolphins fan in there. But my problem with the Bills is the fact of the complaint of how the playoffs left is the same effect that we gave to Brett Favre, but we ruled hard on Brett Favre, even though we're not supporting Brett Favre here, but the whole thing about like, you know, the field goal stuff and everything for love of the game. Even Andrew was gushing over. I'm like, no, you just lost. We're not trying to force anything. Why? And so I put it in this chat, and I put it in another chat. One of my closest friends is a big Bills fan. I'm like, oh, the Pegula is going to try to make it legal for them to have 12 men on the field now.
Yeah. But that movie clip was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it was so good. Oh, my God, yeah.
The comments and downs. So I was just laughing at the comments, and everybody's like, this has gone too far.
That's why I sent it to you. Because, I mean, I'm going to say it respectfully speaking. Respectfully. I get what happened to Hamlin. I understand what happened to Hamlin. I understand. You know, he's a better man than me because I wouldn't go back in. Plain and simple. But, you know, it isn't the player, and it wasn't even the fans who professed it. It made it of an issuance. It was the news media analysis, because you know you have to have respect for the fact that okay, you came back, but you have to show the product on the field once you're back. It's the same equivalent when Alex Smith came out after almost losing his leg and then his life, right? It's just one of those things, and then it felt like Gabe from The Office when he's screaming at Andy, "Shut up about the sun," and the media makes you hate people when you shouldn't, because they overdo it. We see it in basketball, we see it in football, we see it in all that stuff. And the clip that I sent you guys, because you know me, I have no filter. Andrew was probably like, oh, he's going to hell. I'm like, look, I didn't make it. I'm just redistributing it, okay? But it's time now to be like, all right. And I think Hamlin was the 12th guy on the field too. And that's what makes it like terrible in a sense, but that's what makes the memes better. But you have to have a little dark humor. That's all I can say to it.
All right. Well, get your static right, Charles, because we're about to head to the cage, and I'm going to need you.
All right. Am I ready?
Not yet. You're still staticky.
All right. What about now?
Nope. Keep twisting it. I don't know.
Now?
That's as good as it's going to be right now. So
that's what I said.
I've got the thing up there. I think you kind of see it, so let's do it.
All right. Welcome, everybody, your weekly Trueplex, The Cage with Charles. Remember, wrestling is not fake. It's scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance. It's about men and women chasing championships, being the holy hell each other, establishing their legacies, having just good old time, knowing that Vince McMahon is just getting screwed over by Ari Emanuel in the best way possible. Charles is going to the Royal Rumble. Yay! But before we can go to the Royal Rumble, there's Survivor Series next week. But before we go to Survivor Series, acknowledge that there's other wrestling promotions out there such as AEW, and in the very short 5-6 minutes I'm going to give you, because Francisco is very popular of the two of us, I'm just a guy that people either want to sue or just people want to say I take their civil rights from. So bringing into all this other events, AEW Full Gear pay-per-view, I want to kind of pay for it. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not paying $50 for it. Going from there, we're just going to run down the matches and expectations. MJF's going to have a partner against the Guns defending the Ring of Honor World Championships. I won't discuss that until we get the tag team partner in there. Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Tony Storm. It could be good. I think Tony wins, even though Shida should win, for the sole basis that Shida needs a fair shake. This is her third reign as a champion, and her second reign in August was very short. And then now we're gonna do this again. I like Timeless Tony Storm, but there's something about her losing her ish and just a kind of downward spiraling, even after having an opportunity for a title, to lose more, which is great. Sting, Darby Allin, Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, for those who don't know his real name, versus Christian Cage. We love him. Christian and Edge used to be a tag team in the WWE and the faction. They've known each other for life. Against Cage, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne. I'm not into it. We know it's going to kind of happen, that Copeland's going to win. He'll probably get the pin. Probably not on Cage. He'll probably pin Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. They're going to continue that rivalry, maybe not for the TNT championship, but just make it a personal blood feud. I would be happy if Cage got the pin, whether it be on Darby or even Sting. Sting's just on his he's on his the Cowboys riding out, man. The Cowboys riding out. He's going to be retiring in Revolution, which is in March. He's going to have his good time. So, I expect Team Copeland to win. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks. whatever. Let Kenny and Omega can win. I don't care. Do whatever you want with it. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart versus Sky Blue for TBS Championship, the secondary women's title. Statlander probably retains, but it's a triple threat, so maybe you can transfer over the title to either Sky Blue or Julia Hart, and then get something to go with it. Fatal 4-way for the tag belts: Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus La Facción Ingobernable, which is Rush and Tralistico, versus FTR versus King of the Black Thrones, which is Brody King, Malachi Black. Don't know what you're doing, because if you're going to have one belt drop in a multi-person match, you can't do two. So I'm going to say Ricky Starks and Big Bill should retain it. You just had them be champions like a month ago. Let them work with it. You can build some feuds into it, but you need stories sometimes of your titles. And the tag belts have kind of been like, for me. So I'm more interested in that continuing retaining. Let Julia Hart win the multi-woman match that we have. I'm going to list off, even though the world title is going to be the main event, it's not the two matches that would make me want to pay for it, but it's going to be MJF versus Jay White. The last month or so, MJF has that like a bullseye on his back because everybody wants his title, like 6 guys or 4 or 5 guys. Jay White has been kind of a comedic act with the Bang Bang Gang by taking the belt and holding it for a long time. Like, he hasn't returned it, and that makes me feel uneasy. MJF retains, because when you make it be like, I have the title, get used to it kind of thing, it's not going to work. Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the International Championships, a rematch from their match in All Out. That was the main event then. Cassidy now cares. They should have had Rey Fenix. Remember what happened was Moxley won the title, Phoenix clocked out Moxley, and the ref had messed up, and Phoenix got the title, and then Orange Cassidy beat Phoenix to get back the title that he lost to Mox. You should just make it into a thrill. The story makes sense. Everybody kind of hates everybody. Let's do it, right? And then you can bring a lot of stuff. But the problem with Tony Khan is that he can't switch away from a narrative. He can't change the plan. And the rule about wrestling, number one rule of wrestling, kids, is cards subject to change. Now, the main event, I'm going to go on for 2 minutes. Or it's not the main event, but it's my main event. Well, I'm contemplating possibly doing $50 if I'm sick, because I have a little bit of scratchy throat now. So I'm like, COVID would be, which is not COVID. I hope not, at least, right? Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland, Part 2, Texas Death Match. The first match I saw clips of was great when they were at Wrestle Dream. The feud's built in well.
What is maybe you've explained this before, but what is
Texas Death Match? Just think about it as a gory, no DQ match where everything's used. And Hangman has done a lot of them. He's done them with Lance Archer. He's done with Jon Moxley. He did one with Adam Cole on Rampage. I'm
trying to remember. Didn't they do one like outside of the Jaguar Stadium?
No, that's a Stadium Stampede.
Oh, that was different. Okay.
So the Texas Death Match that you might remember is when on Good Friday of all days, Page put a crown of barbed wire on Adam Cole's head and then hit the dead eye. And I was like, I'm like, yeah, suck it. But that was just me. I like little tricks like that, little on the nose humor that I'll take, and subtle humor as well. So they built the feud well. Remember, it came down to where Strickland broke into Hangman's house, talk-ish to his baby, and left his shirt on the baby. And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's diabolical, man. And then Hangman had a promo that says, well, I've been to hell. I'm dragging you back with me. Texas Death Match. I'm like, Charles kind of wrecked right now. Let's do this, man. So I am for it. I'm about it. Hangman wins because there's going to be a heater. There's going to be a cool off. You already have one person win. Swerve the first time around. Have this happen, and then you got to figure out what the third one's going to be. But I think the best thing that you do it. So if I'm booking, they're going to do a world title eliminator match coming up soon to lead you to December pay-per-view, which is World's End. I think that's your cool-off match, where it's a regular match between Swerve and Hangman, and whoever wins gets a title shot at the presumptive AEW championship. And it should be Swerve, and he should get MJF unless you have Joe beat MJF. And please, by all means, let that happen. And that's all my very abbreviated spot that I got for you in the cage, because Francisco he's popular. WWE. Survivor Series next week. It's okay. Shoot back a tire, turn heel. That's all you need. That's really all you need to know.
Yeah, we got to figure out the schedules for next week, right? Because we've got the Tuesday show before Thanksgiving. I'll see when we do the show, because I have a big hearing the next day. So I might be prepping for that. We'll see. If not, we could always do a Wednesday show.
Yeah,
and I could always. I think if I do, I don't know if I'll leave for West Palm on the actual Wednesday, and then go, or I could leave Thursday. Either way, I'll bring the setup and with my laptop anyways. We can just do a small version of the show. And then I guess next week will be a preview, right, of Survivor Series.
Yep.
And we have like a rivalry week with college football and all that stuff like that. I have no idea, but we'll see. We shall see. So that's it. That's all we're gonna talk about. I'm done. Bye-bye.
Take care.